Okay.
Excellent.
So I added the 18th today
I saw that.
to your meeting schedule.
How many hours in advance we have to cancel other than up to the very last minute? Because I mean, clearly if we don't get a quorum, then it didn't happen. But other than that,
Right. I think you can just call it when you need to call it. And like you said, we can start it. And if we don't have a quorum, then we just announce that we don't have a quorum and we pick an alternate date.
yeah, I'm hoping that we'll be done our business by Monday evening. That is everybody's goal that is here. Hey,
Right.
Rachel.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, so is the Monday meeting is definitely happening, right?
That's definitely happening.
Okay, got it.
Wednesday, that is, who knows? And we are, to the best of my knowledge, supposed to have Evelyn and supposed to have Eleanor, which will just barely give us a quorum. So lovely to have everyone who is here. All right, never
So
mind.
the only person I know that replied that they couldn't make it is your newest member is Do Kim.
Okay, but I know certainly that Cody has told me he cannot attend, and Christy had a conflict tonight, and then I had the blanket message from Matt that he just can't fit any of these in
Right.
with the new baby. I think, did I mention everyone? Yes, right? I feel like I'm forgetting one person.
Evelyn?
Evelyn's supposed to be here, and Eleanor is here. Okay, Eleanor, we're just waiting for Evelyn. Angela's in the car, so she needs to be safe, most importantly.
Oh, I'm in the passenger seat. My husband's driving.
Thank you.
We're doing a little, holiday cheer for friends of ours who are getting married in 8 days.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So this meeting is a meeting of the Amherst Cultural Council, and this meeting is being recorded to Zoom and will be uploaded to the Town of Amherst YouTube channel by our IT staff. Due to changes in open meeting laws, and suspension of certain laws by the governor's office, this meeting of the Cultural Council is able to take place virtually. So at this time, I'd like to recognize the chair, Julian Applegate, and I will make you the host, Julian.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you so much. I hope you have a very festive evening, and
Thank you. You too. Good luck with everything. Thanks for your hard work, everyone.
thank you. Okay. So the recording's going, and we are just waiting for Evelyn, who hopefully will be here soon. I probably should ping her. Just a moment. I don't think we've ever been quite so close on quorums in the past for a season.
Julian, have you sent through like a new set of the scoring averages?
I haven't. Frankly,
Oh,
there
okay.
are some folks who've been sending in the scores and not enough overall. So we got off track with that.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss like an update or something. That's fine. Thank you.
No, nope. Yeah, so I appreciate those who did send the notes through, and I have those, and but it just didn't seem to be statistically significant at the numbers that it was coming in at. So
I'm sorry, I missed the last two versions of that.
it's okay. It's not just you. Honestly, I might not even have the last couple ones scored myself. Eleanor, what's the update with the end of the semester?
Same old slog a little bit. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm trying to coordinate with my little brothers what day I'll drive home to DC right now. Because they all, they have actual in-person exams because they both do computer science, and so just me like moving my paper deadlines around them.
It's kind of funny, like mean, it's computers, so that they kind of like need in person less than anyone because
You would think so. No, but it's lots of I did one computer science class here and it was like so many blue book exams, sit down, written. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you got to prove that you can do it without the computer too. That's all.
Oh, I guess so. I guess that's a good point. Well, so my husband wasn't giving exams in his classes. So instead, for like the last class session over at UMass, he was just said, all right, I'll be in the lecture hall and we can come in and look at your projects and I can give you feedback before you finalize it. But he decided it'd be more fun if he took the family dog. So Fuji's had a big week. Fuji
Oh,
went to college this week. So
good for Fuji. Oh yeah, my thesis advisor does that on Tuesdays, and it's a good
this was her first time going actually inside the building. So
Wow.
no,
Wow.
she's
Is
and
does UMass have any rules about it or are they pretty relaxed?
none that I know of yet. I don't know.
And none that Fuji knows of. Yeah.
No, I know his office is in Morrill Hall, which is a science building.
Got it.
And there are rules against taking dogs in there because of the science experiments and blah,
Right, the
blah, blah, blah.
labs and
Yeah.
Mhm.
The office next door to him, that professor actually used to keep a lungfish in a tank, so that was always a popular thing when my son would go over, would be to go visit Louis the lungfish and stuff like that. But that's a scientific animal, not the family dog.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could get Fuji into an experiment. That's the
Yeah.
next.
Yeah. She liked playing fetch because somebody brought a ball. So because, there are all the different levels there, they were throwing the ball for her to the back of the room. And thankfully, she's not a dumb dog. She realized she could just wait for the ball to roll down to her.
How old is she?
She's 5.
Oh,
We got her in January of 2020, so right before the pandemic started. So she ends up being like a pandemic dog, but we didn't intentionally go get one.
yes.
Getting a family dog and then, right when everybody was like, when they shut everything down, that was when she was like old enough at 4 months to like socialize, but we didn't do that. She just stayed with me. So we're attached, me and Fuji. She's, I'm sure, very nearby here. So she actually was like refusing to go with Toby yesterday because she's like, what? Wait, where's Julie?
Where's Julie?
Not
Oh,
without Julie.
yeah, no, my dogs were not pandemic puppies, and we did try to socialize them, but they're just like very neurotically bonded to each other and won't hang out with any other dogs or go anywhere else. But we've kind of accepted it. And it's like, okay, that's your pack.
The whole dog socializing thing is like, sorry for if we have non-dog people here. We'll hear about cats and fish
Yeah,
and birds.
I'm always both.
Yeah. But yeah, this whole thing that dogs, are gonna get out in a big group and like start relating to each other, it's a little weird for them when they get thrown together like that.
Oh,
There's my dog. What's his name? Her name.
His name is Kuro, which means black in Japanese. So we Didi because he's like the little brother. That's Mandarin. So
that is so
his
cute.
registered name is Kuro, but we call him
What a
Didi.
beautiful boy.
Thank you. He's very well behaved, I think.
He looks elegant. He kind of
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm a dog person too, because you're talking about, so anyway.
What about you, Bill?
Um,
You have how many kids? So
yeah, so I have 2 daughters. I have 3 cats, and I now have a mini dachshund puppy who's about 7 months old.
oh, okay. Everyone I'm friends with who've had Dachshunds just adores them. Just they're
He's so
very-
sweet and so funny, and very full of energy still.
Mhm, mhm.
He
They're
just
very-
likes to root around as he is, bred to do.
So which of the cats is in charge of everyone?
Exactly.
Oh, that's a good question. So the Grand Dame, um, she kind of removes herself. She's our standout, our oldest cat. And she comes down for meals, but otherwise she doesn't want anything to do with anybody. And then we have 2 cats that are from the same litter. An orange cat who is a playmate, or a desired playmate, I should say, of the puppy. the cat is not so much into that. And then our other cat, a black cat, they play tag through the house.
Now,
Yeah.
Does your house, as far as the layout, is it possible for animals and children to run in a continuous circle at some point in the house?
Yes.
Yes. Because houses, listen up, Eleanor, if you think about it, houses with children don't function. I'm so glad this is being recorded for posterity. You can't have a functional house with children unless there's a circular route that can be chased. Go through many rooms and kind of down dart a hallway this way, but there has to be the loop.
Yes, yeah, that was our favorite childhood game was Track Monkey, which was you just run in a circle and then your dad puts out the phone book and you have to jump over the phone book on the track.
Oh my God, you know what a phone book is.
Oh yes, yes, yes. You know, more as an object on the Track Monkey game, but yes, I do.
So
Yes,
funny.
I'm all about the circular route of the house.
Must have it. Otherwise you can't function. It just doesn't work.
And our cat would participate too. She was
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have a final date when you're headed out?
I'm thinking the 20th is what I'm gonna do. And I'm kind of wanting to break the drive up, so I'm gonna stop in either New York for the night or Pennsylvania, where one of my brothers is at school. Just because I can do a long drive, and I sometimes do, but
That's a
thinking
miserable
of
drive.
breaking it into 12 hours on the way home, in the rain and the traffic, and I was just doing it all, and I was like, this is not. No, I'm gonna give myself a rest overnight.
Wait, remind
That
me
is a hard
where
drive.
you are. You're right in the DC area where
Yeah, I'm right in DC, so it can be
where exactly?
I'm in inside DC in like upper northwest, like Tenleytown, North Cleveland Park area.
Okay.
Um and so it can be one time it was as little as like 6.5 hours, I would say average is 7.5, 8, but it just like when it's bad, it's really bad.
It's a really intense drive.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
bad enough from like here to New York City and then New York City all the way down to DC. Like they're both really intense. They're
They're really
yeah.
intense. Just there's kind of no way around it. Like you're gonna hit the traffic no matter what if there is traffic. So it's okay, and it can be not that bad if you got company or a lot of good music to listen to or something. But I've decided to break it up. So it's just before the holidays, like
It's gonna
the,
be a madhouse and
it's
then with the
all
weather.
icy at all. Like I don't, yeah. So
I take the train down when I go to Newark, Delaware because I'm on the advisory council for the fashion department there. And I go once a year. It's like a one day meeting, but I stay the night before and leave the morning after the meeting. And it's just not when I can hop the train in Northampton and sit there and for me, I'm working anyway, right? I could be
yeah.
at my table at my sofa. So it's just not worth it for me to do that to
Oh,
myself.
absolutely not. No, are you on the Amtrak?
Yeah. So it's pretty easy if you have the time to spend. I mean, like for you, no, you've got to go pick up your brothers and everything else. Obviously,
Right.
you do that. But as far as
Yeah.
like otherwise, it's a pretty miserable drive. I'm trying to convince. I think my parents are finally going to come around to the train because my mom grew up in Rockville and
Oh, right.
her sister's family is in Reston. I have another. I have her cousin is a bigwig realtor in and around the DC area. So she's got a bunch of family in the area, so she goes back and forth.
Yeah. Do you guys go down and visit them ever in the area or mostly other way?
Not as much. Like my mom and her sister go back and forth, but yeah, I mean, we haven't had as many family events, and my one cousin actually just got married in Texas because life has kind of people have moved all over around, so things like that. But I love the area. I used to go all the time as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah,
What
Bill,
about
did
you?
you
Are
say
you
you were
hmm? What's it?
I was on did Bill say you were from there too, or you had some connection to the DC area?
Yeah, no, lived there for like 27 years.
Where in
Um,
DC or the area did you live?
So when I moved out from California, when I first moved out, I lived near the cathedral in an
Mm.
apartment. And then my now wife and I bounced around between Alexandria and Arlington, a couple of places, and then the last 10 years was in Petworth in a row house.
Yeah, yeah. I'm right near the cathedral, like in that Cathedral Heights, as they're dubbing it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in an apartment building between Mass and Cathedral on Idaho Avenue.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. No, I've loved living there, and my parents are divorced, but they both live in that like area, and it's really
It's a
nice.
great area. Yeah.
Kind of best of all worlds for me.
Yep.
My favorite was hearing my grandfather who worked for NASA. He
Mhm.
would tell stories about growing up in DC during the Depression. And his stories were totally different than my grandmother's because his father worked in government and it wasn't as bleak as it was for other people. But he just has the best stories about how cool DC was back in, the 20s and 30s and stuff. It's nuts. It's really cool.
Wow, I bet.
Yeah. And like my great grandmother, who I knew, she was just very much DC metropolitan, like in the 70s and 80s when she'd come visit, she would not leave the house without her pearls and her white kid. I mean, she was
Mhm.
a lady.
Yeah, yeah, no,
But she was
they're
in the suburbs of South Jersey, which was not as fancy.
no,
We
it does
don't
not
do that here in Amherst, Julian.
Pearls and kid and
Yeah.
the
I thought that's
I've
what
got the opera length gloves, but I don't have the day ones. So yeah, next time I go over to I don't know.
the town hall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
exactly.
telling my daughter Chloe that she needed to dress up when we went to see Alvin Ailey at I guess the Fine Arts Center over at UMass. And we were still new in town. I guess she was a sophomore and she's taller than me and like super, super thin. And I was like, no, wear the heels, dress up. And then we got over there and everybody's like wearing Chacos and Crocs. And it was like, I was like, really? For Alvin Ailey?
Julian, I was at that performance too. I can't remember. I think I was somewhere in between the tacos and the heels. I was like maybe a sweater and a skirt.
Yeah. I mean, I think Chloe must have been coming in close to 6 foot there with like her platform heels and and she was terribly anxious. So she was just like, oh my God, oh my
Oh,
God, I'm
poor
so
baby.
overdressed. She's lightened up since. Well, folks, we're at 20 minutes here and I got nothing from Evelyn. Shoot.
And you said that you knew Christy and Cody weren't.
And I had Evelyn was absolute something must have come up for her because she was absolutely firm that Monday was an issue because I had the two of you with Evelyn could only come for the first little bit in the beginning and then you were coming for the end, so I was like looking at that stuff for quorum. But Evelyn at the time, but it is the end of the semester, so who knows what could have come up. And not only that, I hear there's a man who's building an ark who's about to show up for this flood we're having. So he's works in residence life. So I have no idea. I can only assume something came up. But so much for us finishing definitively without needing the meeting on the 18th. It'll be a game time call as of Monday evening as to whether we can complete things or not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, I guess we could chat for another 10 minutes just in case, because with the hour and a half, and this has been so much fun. We should just have these meetings.
So Julian, do we so you were talking about Monday with me coming at the end? Are you talking about for this
Last
or
week.
last week?
Or I mean, I'm sorry, today is Wednesday. I'm talking about Monday, the day before yesterday.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say if it's the same for next Monday, then that's fine with me. I don't know how.
I'm hoping you can come for the whole meeting on Monday.
Okay, all right. I'll skip my other thing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. What about you, Rachel? Where will you be for the holidays?
Probably right here. Yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of scheduling things.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it feels like last minute. I don't know, because we went away last week and That's when we normally get our tree, is right around my birthday, and then we didn't get the tree, so like everything is kind of like pushed back a week. So most likely here. That's the short answer, but that could change.
I'm definitely here.
Yeah,
How was
me
your
too.
birthday?
Yeah, how was your birthday?
Oh, it was good, thank you. It was nice. I was supposed to be in New York, but we ended up going a day later. So, because my daughter ended up coming home for my birthday, which was really nice.
Aw.
Yeah. So Eleanor, how far are you going to get your brothers? Like they're not here, right? One of them is
So one of them's in at Wesleyan, so that's only, an hour or so. So I guess I don't know. I've really got to nail them down to get the logistics out of them of like if I'm gonna pick one up, take him to New York, figure it out. And then the other one is at Lafayette in Pennsylvania. So that's what it's like 3.5 hours from DC. So it's on the second leg of that drive.
oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah.
But
But it's
that's good. Y'all planned it well. Like you just like an hour and a half to Middletown, pretty much, right? Like
exactly. I
yeah.
know. No, it has worked out very well, and it's funny. We all kind of applied to schools all over the place, and it just has been serendipitous that we've got one car and 3 kids on one coast, so we can kind of like
Great.
coordinate. Yeah.
So Julianne, you'll get a kick out of this because was it last semester? Maybe, yeah, it was maybe around this time last year. I can't remember. Like I went to an opening at the Mead Art Museum,
Mhm.
and I look over and I said, Eleanor, is that you? We
We've
had
never seen each other in
we never
person.
met in person.
Yeah, yeah. And it was like, Rachel, your face was like so familiar to me, but even still it was so hard to make the jump for a moment where it's like, oh my God. Yes, no, that was great. And we met and then I was gone for, 9 months.
And Eleanor's really tall, by the way, in person.
Yeah, I've met Eleanor in person
Yes, I met
times.
Jan in person, exactly. Yeah, well, I think I'm taller than you might think, and I probably had some like heeled clogs on or something that was helping matters. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't know if the meet is doing a similar end of year thing this year, but I have not kept up with it as well, the schedule.
No.
Probably
But you're
check our
you're
grants
here
book.
next semester, or you're here next semester. You
Yes,
are
I'm
here
here next semester.
semester.
Exactly.
Sure,
For my final one. It's
oh,
my last push, which feels so crazy to say. That's what I think I'm gonna. I think I mentioned this to you on email, Rachel. I think I'm gonna come a little. I usually, our classes start like beginning of February, end of January, but I'm gonna be here for at least part of the January term.
okay.
Because
Where's your apartment?
sorry.
Where's your apartment?
Oh, I live in the dorms, one of the Amherst
Oh,
College,
okay.
on just on the main road on South.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm kind of like I'm right across from the farmers market, basically.
Nice. Okay. Sometimes colleges like you can't be in the dorms until it's officially the semester again. So
Right. No, good question. It's you just have to like submit a little thing, and they actually make it pretty easy, but I was worried about that.
that's very convenient. And Bill, did you say whether you're traveling or staying here or what's up with you?
No, we'll be here. Yeah, no traveling.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, Christmas, especially like with kids, it's nice to be able to just be home. It's hard to drag kids all over the place at a certain
Yeah.
age. Yeah.
So Julian, after we finish discussing all the applications, do you know like how you want to manage the next step before we?
I knew exactly what we were going to do up until today because I thought we were actually going to be able to get through all of them and go back to the ones that we needed to go back to. And then my plan was to go back and, well, at least I had planned at the end of this meeting to discuss where we were with the budget, as far as how far over we were at the time that we discussed everything versus our rough numbers. And from there, I was going to ask, isn't this so much fun, what we could have done? I was going to ask everyone for any kind of high-level comments to take into consideration about something that they'd like to adjust. too much to really kind of get into looking at the categorization that Bill did, that you did, like we need kind of a break in between. So the next thing was I had planned to then over the weekend be able to go back and look at the categorization. And to be able to present that at the beginning of the meeting on Monday, which now we're behind for. So I think, just kind of winging it here in the back of my mind. Are you around this weekend at all, Bill? Probably doing nothing because, you know, the holidays aren't like
Yeah,
me. I mean, it's going to be like my tree or a cultural council. I got the tree.
exactly. We have
I,
the tree, but it's not decorated yet. But yes, I'm around. I think the only solid thing that I've got is Nutcracker with my youngest daughter on Sunday.
well, that must be prioritized.
Yes.
So maybe we can go ahead and go back and forth and kind of crunch the numbers,
Mhm.
and be ready to present. And maybe the way it's structured, it would be such that as those last few were put in, that everything's tabulating so that we can kind of see where things are. So maybe we can collaborate on that.
Yeah, I'm happy to tackle that. I'm a communicator, so numbers isn't necessarily my thing, but I have some thoughts on how I can do that.
I don't know where I fall into that. I certainly know my way around an Excel chart and probably have used them more and beyond my knowledge level. Between us, we can.
I think we can figure it out.
Rachel, do you have any time or bandwidth to kind of participate on that? Because I know this is something you very much wanted. It was great that Bill was able to put it together, but if you know,
Would we
I'm not
be
gonna
doing
fight you,
this?
Eleanor, not going to.
Sorry, would we be doing this all at the same time, or are we kind of going back and forth on?
Right now, we are just fluid as far as how, when, what would be done. Like, there's the possibility certainly that we could schedule a time to kind of meet in person and collaborate, or we could do it all by email, or we could set up a virtual meeting. Like um, I'm flexible and would love to have some other eyes on it. And again, Eleanor, I'm just not going to invite you because you're too busy, and I'm not going to do that to you. It's not that we don't
I
want you.
appreciate it.
You're welcome. So it's just kind of how the two of you would prefer, you know, if it just is in emails going back and forth, okay. I am around, I am pretty busy, as far as, but this has to happen, so I will prioritize it.
I think,
So
go ahead, Bill.
I was just gonna say, Juliet, if you want to send me what you've got now with the real numbers, I can do an initial kind of run at it and then send it out so that you all have something to react to as opposed to trying to all of us create from scratch, if that works for you.
I think as far as send it out at this point, it would be just the smaller group as opposed to sending it to everyone, because I think
Yeah.
Jill and I in particular, will probably want to adjust some things or just refine a little bit. One of the things I noticed, which I would have liked to have done, and I'm going to let you all go here soon, which I would have liked to have done with what you did, was I wanted to be able to kind of sort by category, which you can, but like if I go to sort, this might be my limitations with Excel, but if I sort, I've got folk and, rock music or something versus classical music. Like if I made all of the music dash folk, music dash classical, then I could start organizing them.
Oh, I got
So I
you.
can have music, like here's the whole music subcategory, which happens to be a big one, right? So that might be something if you're willing to start with refining that,
Yep.
and then absolutely I can also get you the rough numbers that we kind of penciled in. And just for everyone while we're here, we're up to a little more than 75,000 out of about 60,000 that is in our official annual report to allocate. So there's going to have to be some trimming, but that's not.
About 10 more to applications.
We've
right?
got 10 or 14, and then we had that we needed to circle back to. I have at least 3, maybe let's call it 5 to circle back to. And then it wasn't that many. You're right. I think we got further than what I was thinking. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 that we still need to touch on. I'm sorry, I think I've got my numbers a little mangled, but does everyone get the picture? It's less than 20 overall as far as those that haven't been discussed at all and those that we need to go back to,
Mhm.
which we totally could have gotten done tonight if we'd had a quorum.
Yeah, so I mean, I missed like the last, I was there for part of last meeting, but the meeting prior to that, I wasn't there. There's like 2, I think I missed last week. So do you all feel like there were any during those discussions that people really disagreed on in terms of how much to give? Is there,
You know what? It's probably because I'm just dominating this year, but no, we really haven't had anything that coming out of the discussion, it was really like people were way, way off. I think everybody's been kind of practical about it as far as, from the beginning with so many grants, we knew it was going to be hard to fully fund. And once people kind of talked things through, there were even some that people championed, and then we got into it and we're like, whoa, wait, now, is this really something we can fund? Even the ones that we were saying, no, we cannot do them. We, as I recall, again, I've been just dominating everyone. We didn't end up with any where there was like a disagreement where it was like one person is like, no, I absolutely think that we're able to fund this kind of thing. And somebody else was like, how could we? Some of those discussions we've had in prior years. Again, it's just because I'm not letting, twisted arms.
Not true, Julia. No, we're just all very. We're
because I
on the
wasn't at those
same
meetings.
No, you weren't at that. No, I mean, I think we're in pretty good shape, pretty good agreement. And then for you, Bill, kind of in prior years, we really have been pretty much down, pretty tight on time
Mhm.
meetings to get this done. Ironically, I think it's worked out a little differently this particular grant cycle because we've had fewer people at meetings, maybe that sometimes a larger group can slow things down a little, but we've been able
Sure.
to pretty quickly. But what we've done is we've done like basically we would send out before the voting meeting. Like if we'd been able to finish everything tonight, I would have sent out before the voting meeting kind of the amount that we penciled in for everything that's over,
Mhm.
right? And then when Matt and I were working as co-chairs, we would work together to then say, okay, let's propose this slate with these adjusted numbers. And then to be able to present back to the group about how and why it was adjusted. So I think, I can't remember now without going back to my notes. In some cases, it could be adjusted based on everything needs to be bumped down X percentage to get it to the right number. I think we took a hybrid approach though, where we looked at it regionally and we said,
Mhm.
what percentage would we have to take everything down? If we kept everything that really truly has full nexus is really, really here in Amherst proper,
Mhm.
what would be the percentage we'd have to decrease everything else across the board? And like, let's say that was like 5% for those. It's like, okay, people aren't going to like feel that too painfully or something like that. So that's kind of like the work that would go behind that. And then even with that at the final voting meeting, which people would have this beforehand, ideally, then the council members were able to go back. I know, Rachel, I seem to recall like last year, Restless Books. And that was something that you came to, as I recall, either the final voting meeting or the one before it and spoke to, hey, whoa, wait a minute, let's talk about, what this is and how significant it is and how did it get down to this level and what can we do? And, and the numbers got changed, by the whole group And then we were able to vote on the full slate in the end. But there were other adjustments like that. That's just one that comes to mind. So
Yeah, I remember Eleanor and I both were kind of championing that one, I think, if I recall correctly, with
absolutely, yeah.
the writing workshops, right? No, that makes sense, because it sounds like that's why I asked, like, whether there were any kind of strong disagreements taking place, because it sounds like, I mean, so far we could just take a similar approach of like adjusting everything down by a comparable percentage or something to.
Yeah, but I think we do need to look at some of the categories in particular, right? And the locations. So if you guys want to jot down notes as the ones that we were going to circle back to, can I give you like just the number from the sequence number that work for folks?
Yeah.
Okay, so number 15, which is Project Sarang, Colors of South Asian Music. That's one that we're circling back to. We needed more information. I guess the one that was kind of like the most discussion back and forth about, the one that we maybe have the least agreement on was number 20 for the bodily press. And that, the question about that was, you know, stipends for artists who are selling books.
Yeah.
Because often, you know, if they're selling books at I don't know. I will leave it at that and not go into depth as we are not at quorum. And then this was a pair of grants, grant number 26 and grant number 28. One is number 26 is Craig's Doors applying, and number 28 is ETTA, Empowerment Through the Arts. This is a group project, so it's two. Normally, we would ask one group to apply for the whole big project and manage the whole grant, and instead we have them applying separately. It was a little strange and not sure. I'm still not sure how we do that. When the grant event is split in two different groups, yeah. So that just required everyone to really take a good solid look at it, which I still need to look at it again. And number 33 was one to circle back to, but that was just for me. And yes, I did receive all the documents, so we can probably skip that one. It's probably fine where it is. And last to circle back to was number 96, just because we just didn't have a lot of time to discuss it. So I think we're safe to say that we're not going to see Evelyn tonight. But I appreciate all of you being here.
Nice to chat.
Nice to chat. Yeah, you know, it's something where, you know, I joined the council, much like I guess Bill, you and Rachel, especially, like, to, you know, after moving here, you know, with families, to like get to know folks. And Rachel and I joined about the same time, and I know you wanted to get to know people too, but you know, Eleanor, but it was
No, but totally, yeah.
yeah, and it's wonderful having you and having you participate, but you're like really immersed in a community. Like when you know, get to another point in your life and, you know, it's all about taking care of your kids and everything. It's just different. We wanted to be part of things, and then COVID happened. So I do hope that we're gonna have to figure out who will be taking the reins, you know, in coming months for the Cultural Council, which I look forward to handing over. And in a way where I can, you know, support whomever is stepping up for that.
Wait,
But
are
it
you
would,
just dropping this bomb now, or has this been?
hey, they kicked me out. I will have been here too long. So yeah,
Off the council entirely or just as chair?
entirely, yeah.
Oh, because there's a term limit.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
do, 2 back-to-back 3-year terms. So, yeah, I've been here since before the pandemic, as has Rachel. So Rachel's not gonna be able to stay much longer either. So, but with that, we did used to meet in person.
Mhm.
And the virtual meetings, I think, are convenient, but they're not particularly kind of sticky, like I think part of the drift of, getting to the point where we're a bit scattered, I think it would matter to at least try to come back to like a hybrid format of especially when it's just monthly meetings or every other month or something, to get those to be in person, because it is a really wonderful group that we have. And it's a whole different thing to be able to get to know folks in person. And yeah, and I've had, the ongoing support of Gigi, who was the chair of the council when I joined, and Jenny, who was her co-chair some of the time as well, has been supportive and everything else. And likewise, I will continue to be, supportive, and, I won't drop off the face of the earth. I might drop off the continent because Toby's Fulbright is advancing nicely. So it might be gone for a bit.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah, it
really
will be. It'll be really good. It'll be good. So, but that's not for over another year. So, yeah. All right. Well, I will give you your evenings back, minus a little bit of time. It's been so nice catching up and chatting. Really. Highlight of my day, I promise.
mine too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julianne.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody.
All right. I'll be in touch.
You're
Everyone
welcome.
take care. See
Okay.
you Monday.
Talk to
Have a
you
good
soon.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.